Yo, yo, it's that time. It's that time. It's that time. What's up, my people? I got my music in the background. You can hear it. Who's this DJ? Let me give the love to the DJ. It is Chad B. Smith. And let's see. It's the Christian R&B and hip hop mix. So, Chad B. Smith, thank you for putting on the music. Obviously, I'm going to wait for some of y'all to jump in. As I do that, I'm going to put the um, make sure I put this into the, because we gotta wait for some folks. Let's see. Let's go in this chat. Let's see here. I don't know how to do this chat. What are turn on this music? What are the power moves you need to make? All right. Oops. Let's go ahead and put this here. All right. Oh, since we are live, we're doing our thing. How come it's not staying up here? Nice. All right. I'll just leave that up there. Okay. I'm gonna wait for some of y'all. Cause you ain't okay, now I see some of y'all. Okay. Okay, now I see some of y'all. Now I see some of y'all. I know it takes a minute to come in. But hey, today's 10:31, and we're gonna be talking about power moves for this week as an entrepreneur, for my week. But I also want to hear from you, like, what are some of the power moves that you talk about? If you have any questions throughout, please let me know. Definitely want to see it. Definitely want to chop it up with you. I definitely want to know the power moves that you need to make today. I'm going to share my power moves with you, and we'll get going. But right for me, it's right here. I want to know. Here's a question: what are the power moves you need to make? And for those that say like, "Oh, I don't like," what do you mean by a power move? Okay, so let me tell you a power move. Jerry Rice said, let me bring this over to my other screen so I can look at it from right here. Let's work smarter, not harder, right? The power moves. Jerry Rice says something. And for those that don't know Jerry Rice is an all fame, all American, all of fame wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers. Then he went to the Raiders when he was past his prime. But Jerry Rice, he said that today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. I still say I learned that quote about 13 years ago, and I continue to say that on a weekly basis. And at one point in time, I used to say like, I want to have a breakthrough moment once a quarter. Once a quarter, right? I would say no. Initially, I would be like, I want to have a breakthrough every year, but I'm like, in my mindset, I was like, why just once a year? And then I said once a quarter. Then I went to once a month, once a week. Guess what? Then I said, let's do it daily. Like today, Jerry Rice said today. So I'm excited for today because I want to share with you some of my strengths. I'm going to share with you my flaws for the week. What went well, what went bad, what are the things I want to work on. I want to share with you those things. And so I haven't seen anyone comment on what are the power moves you need to make. And so, again, as I share my strengths and my flaws for the week and what I did well, I'm excited to share with you, like, the power moves of like, today I'm going to do what others won't so I can do what others can't. So I'm pretty excited for today. It's the last day of the month, and just for the such special person, uh, I want to say happy birthday to you. One of my top fans. I want to say happy birthday to you. So I got someone said, like, what will you do without food stamps? Well, food stamps is not one of my power moves. But real talk. I used to be on food stamps. Real talk. I used to be on food stamps until I said, no, I can't. I don't want to live this life. Tell me, are you trying to do? Are you trying to get off food stamps? Put it in there. What do you need to do? What do you think you need to do to get off of food stamps? Guess how I knew? How'd you know? What will you do without food stamps? Tell me more about it. And as you comment, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my power moves for this week, which I was pretty excited about. Because last week, I didn't tell y'all, but when I was on the last week, I was pretty excited to launch my DIY Build Your WordPress class. Now, I've been building websites for over 10 plus years, and I was excited to share my class that I built out like a year ago. But last year, I was trying to find different platforms so I could be able to share this out to my clients, share this out to prospective leads. A lot of folks know that I teach at the college level, but now I would say they didn't know that I was a marketing agency. Now they know I knew. Oh, I have a marketing agency. Also, I'm a consultant. Also, all this stuff, right? Because I wear lots of different hats, and so leads me to one of my flaws is sometimes I ask for permission rather than waiting for an applause rather than just doing what I'm supposed to do. So last week I was excited that one of my moves that I did was I I just put out my course on, if you want to have a website, I tell you how you go about getting your domain, your hosting, and how to do it on with WordPress. Now, it's not for everyone, but this is for something like my business. For my clients, they are looking to build something so that they can put their shingle on the digital world and hang their shingle up in the World Wide Web so that they can start funneling traffic to their website rather than just say social media. And social media has, hey Sally, social media has a lot of different places that you can go to if you're logged in, but my clients are not trying to work with all that. So my power move for last week, again, what Jerry Rice said was, today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. And I'll use Kirk Franklin's quote. He says, just because today is not perfect, it doesn't mean it doesn't have purpose. So I would love to know what power moves you need to make for today so that you can do what you couldn't. And that's including me. So, like I said, two of my flaws is asking for permission and waiting for the applause. And I do that really for feedback, but I also want to make sure that I'm not disrupting anyone's flow, right? But sometimes you just got to move forwards, because my strengths are my courage, my fortitude, and my discipline. You tell me I need to do something, I'll get that done, right? I'll get that done. So the power move, when Jerry Rice said, today I would do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. Another thing I did last week, not just launch my own course on YouTube, right? Make sure y'all check it out if you haven't already. It's pretty dope. I want to know, like, for you, what do you think the power moves you need to make? Like what I did with my conference last week is I started to lay out the schedule, which I already had it done, but now I started going into the details. And I won't go into like the boringness of it, right? But I started pick the food and everything. And what was interesting, so I'm gonna move this out because I don't like how it's right there. So let me move this out. What was interesting is I started to see how people don't show up. Um, Uh-oh, looks like I lost some people. Let me just wait, because I'm not gonna just talk to nobody. So I started to see, um, if I be real, I started to see how people don't show up unless they're gonna get something out of it. And I was having this interaction with this individual, which is, it's always interesting when you talk to folks that say they're going to do something, and then they gas you up, but then they don't follow through. And so this kind of leads me to like the last thing that I was going to talk about, because courses have started for college. And so I'm in my second week, I think. Yeah, my second week of classes. And no, I'm in my third week of classes right now. But what I started to notice about when you working with another business, especially another business owner, especially someone in the startup mode, and of course, people are talking their talk, they're talking their game. What I found interesting is when I started to have a more direct, and I'm not gonna say confrontational. It's not confrontational like we had beef or anything, but a direct conversation about my conference and what was going to go down. This individual only want to put their brand, their name, and get that free promotion. And I said, well, what happened to, this transaction we were going to do after, I don't ever push a transaction because it's all about the relationship. This individual is like gone. Like it was like an interaction of back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and it was done. It's like, wait, I thought that you were saying you was going to do all this, and this opportunity that this individual had, I've been talking to them for years about it, right? And was all trying to gas me up, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come through, come through, come through, come through. And in some ways, I'm kind of like my candle here. Like I'm like my candle. I'm like, it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. But what I walked away, kind of going back to like my flaws, is I'm asking for permission for you to move forward and allow me to support you. They were nowhere to be found. And so last week, moving into this week, I got to show you something, because this is a good example. I'm starting to put out my brand. My For those that know or don't know, I got my BU hoodies, and I want to show you. I want to show you that I got some on order. I just got some in the mail. I got some in the mail right here. And so what I'm excited about, and here I flip the camera so you can see. Um, I, this is my latest rendition on BU, because that's what I tell my clients, is to be you. When it comes to you can use someone else's strategy and everything else, but at the end of the day, you have to be you. And then I have my logo right there for my company. And so, and I've had, I got t-shirts. I got t-shirts here, and I have coffee mugs. But what's funny is people love this hoodie. And so I'm putting it into I'm getting it put into a store. And so I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And what I just find interesting about people is, of course, I get we got to pay our bills. I get that. But what I find interesting, how people are so much about themselves, they don't understand that in this entrepreneur world, if you are trying to get something, as you trying to go to this next level, you have to give. And whatever you're giving, right? Your expertise, you have to put yourself in that position to where, like, you're gonna give that away until you can charge for it. And so this person was like last week and was like, hey, you know I want to be a speaker, I want to do all these things. I'm like, okay, well, I gave you the opportunity to be a speaker. Just like, it's always funny, when you get closer to the deadline, especially the conference, people say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. It's like, well, I came to you before we were even close to the deadline, but I gave you the opportunity to do it, but you had to pay for it. Why didn't you pay for it? So it was just a reaffirmation that I needed to get, because, again, when it comes to the power moves today, what are you going to do so that tomorrow you can do what others can't? And ever since I saw that quote, it's not easy, because, like Kirk Franklin said, today's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have purpose. So last thing I wanted to go into about the power moves I made for this week is that college has started. I'm in the third week of college. I'm excited. I'm blessed to be a college professor. What's crazy about why I'm like, why is this a power move? I've been teaching at the college level for 10 years, 10 plus years. I never would have thought that I was going to be a college professor, and my power move behind that, and I'm repeating it, y'all, so y'all can get it. I'm gonna repeat this. You are going to do what others won't, so you can accomplish what others can't. And people don't still didn't know that I teach at the college level. And some people didn't even know what I taught. Some people didn't understand when I say business or operations or marketing, they were like, oh, I need that. And I was able to start talking to a prospect or to another potential client about my services that I offer, just because of this kind of like this side hustle I got. And so um, I would love to know, for those that are out, that you listen, as I'm always here to answer any questions. How can I help you? How can I go about share my expertise, which is why I started the conference. But I understand, like, we live in this global digital world. This is why I came on to YouTube. How can I help you? What power moves are you thinking about? What power moves do you need to make? What are some things that you have, some opportunities that you can work on and get better, that only you can do? And so I love hearing people's stories. This is why I say, be you. There's no one like you. God don't make junk, and you're here for a very specific reason. So uh, when I think about this week, the problems that I had this week, and the fears and the pain and my sadness, man, it was tough. I'll be vulnerable right now and just say that, when people think about entrepreneurship and you doing your own thing and you doing this, and you got money, and it's like, man, what movie have you watched to make you believe that's all that? One of the first movies I watched that I still, it's a love movie, but once I tell people, I said, no, that's a business movie. They were like, oh, they're like, yeah, that is Jerry Maguire. If you haven't seen Jerry Maguire, watch Jerry Maguire. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's a love movie." That's a business movie. And if you don't see how it's a business movie, then your lens is not as an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And Crystal talked about that in my last podcast, of how, she's married to a W-2, and the way he looks at things is different than the way we look at things. And so, but Jerry Maguire, when he was going about getting, when he wrote that memo saying, like, this is how he wants to serve clients, this is how he wants to be a industry leader and serve the people and do what's right for the customers. Some people will be like, right, but they were like, yeah, we're gonna clap this on, but they were like, hey, look, we're gonna cut them, because that's not part of our ethos. We're about making that money, right? And so he went into business for himself, and you just saw, like, how he had to scrape and he had to hustle. And um, I won't do any spoilers for y'all that haven't seen Jerry Maguire. My girl would say, oh, that's a classic. It is a classic, and it's a blockbuster classic. Another those, one of those. But Jerry Maguire is the ultimate entrepreneur movie right there, because, man, when you talk about power moves, he stood on 10 toes down on, he was committed to being the change he wanted to see. And so today I'm going to do what others won't. So tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. I appreciate Jerry Rice for saying that, because I think too much of the time uh, we put things off. We procrastinate. Why would you procrastinate on receiving your blessing? At the end of the day, your procrastination move, rather than that power move, is going to, it, you might say, oh, I don't need that, right? I might not need to do that today, or I might, and immediately I'm thinking of my kids, so I'm trying not to like bust them out, because I don't know, they don't really be watching, but that procrastination, I'd be getting them, and then they get mad when they want something and then they don't have it. I'm like, why is that my fault? Because you weren't doing the things that you were supposed to be doing. That power move of today, ooh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. So, every platform, here's something for marketing, okay? Every platform is doing their best to empower creators to put out content on their platforms, right? Before, every platform, all they were going to do is give you a place to upload and you push out your content. Well, now, why does every single platform have an editor? Let me tell you why they have an editor. They understand that not everybody has the means to have a computer, and nor do they also not have the means to buy the software, because those were the videos that some of them were going viral because they were edited and they had the means to put it on, to do it. They would, the phones were able to do all the sick stuff it can do now. So when platforms now have editors, they understand this UGC, user generated content, is the next big thing. Where movies are going to now start to have more generated content, which is mind blowing, that we're using CGI, not UGC, CGI, computer generated content, because we're going more towards AI. But why does every single platform have an editor? Because they understand the power that you can create some phenomenal content if you are given the right tools. And given the right tools, you make exciting, interesting, entertaining, engaging, educational, informing content. You're going to keep people on their platform. We call that in the marketing world, that's SEO, search engine optimization, for someone to find you. And once you land on the page, we want to keep you on the page. And in this case, it's not just a page. We created an app. These platforms have created an app, this application for the platform, for you to continue to scroll and never end. Now, I know I'm aging myself here, but there was a time when Facebook, you got to the bottom and that was it. It was never ending scroll. You got to the end of it, just like TV used to be at 1 o'clock, or I think maybe 2 o'clock. It came down to where there was no programming. It was just like, we call them black and white ants. Well, now, guess what? It's never ending. Not only is it never ending, you have a plethora, hundreds and hundreds of channels. We are in a place where we have created our own ecosystems, because technology has advanced us to not ask for permission. We're going to just do what we want to do. So this is the beautiful thing about how do we separate ourselves. We're making power moves, and the power moves, why monkey? No. Huh? Yeah, Kurt. I don't know what you mean by that. Interesting. But anyways, when it comes to these platforms now providing these editors, this is the power moves that is happening. That's why I said earlier, when I launched my course about how to do your own website, how to do your own domain, how to do your own hosting, for a lot of people, they will just like say, Nathan, can you just do the website, right? And other people say, hey, look, I'll do it myself because I can't afford it. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna remove. Let's see. Let me go ahead. We're gonna remove that comment because I think that was a little rude. I don't think if he's calling me a monkey, then we gonna have some problems. So let me remove this comment. Because we're not playing that game right there. We don't. We got to remove that comment. If that's the if he nah, I'm not playing that game. But going back to what I was saying about the power move of how these big companies, and I'm not trying to say their names, but these big platforms at one point in time where you just uploaded a video and you was hoping it to get seen and blah blah blah, that was it. Now these platforms provides editors, and now these platforms provide the opportunity for you to go live, and everyone has their own business model. And so the power moves is, how do you capitalize on that? How do you capitalize on it to where, unlike my story I was talking about earlier about now somebody wants to be a speaker and wants to get in front of the podium or be behind the podium or have the mic in their hand. How do you get that? You get that by putting in work. It's just not going to happen. What did Jerry Rice say? Again, I said it again. Today I'm going to do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. We have to put in the work every single day. And so the power moves that I was making last week, I'm now benefiting from. But these weren't power moves that I just did last week. These are things that I did every single day. So when I said I wanted to have that breakthrough moment once a year, that's not going to get me to the place where I want to be. My breakthrough moments have to come every single day. I have to do something that scares me. I have to be uncomfortable. I have to be willing to do things that people have never done before. And as a Marine, as a military person, I love that structure to where give me the plan, boss. Give me what I need to do, sir. Tell me what I have to do, Sergeant. I'll knock that out and I'll crush it, right? But it's different when you have to create it for yourself. It's different when you have to create, implement, execute, and evaluate yourself. So that's why I say sometimes my flaws is I'm asking for permission and waiting for applause to say, hey, look, that's how you do it. That's not going to happen in this entrepreneur world. So when you are making these breakthroughs and power moves, it's going to be quiet, right? Because the other part of when you're waiting for applause, you wait for the applause and you get all like, oh, I can do this, all that. But what happens when they get booed? What happens when you get booed? What happens when you get talked about? Then you're like, and I'll be the first one to say, hey, I've had my my day crushed because I'm here looking for someone to lift me up to say this is good, but instead of just looking with them. And someone told me, matter of fact, this week, which I'll talk about next week, about how my message lands has nothing to do with me. It's going to land how it's going to land with people, which we're finding now. Why are people different? It's because for once we're embracing diversity. Now some people may argue with that, but we're embracing authenticity. So we are all different. What feeds our soul is different. How we continue to nurture our soul is different. How we want to bless somebody and be a blessing to others is going to be different. So this world of authenticity is created to where like my message is not going to resonate with everyone, and I have to be okay with that. I am okay with that. I I don't I don't want to try to make everybody happy. That's, really honestly, I'm going to say that's too much pressure. I also with my clients, when I onboard a client and they say, Nathan, I want to serve everybody. I'm like, why would you want that? You don't have the resources, you don't have the tools, you don't have the people. Why would you try to serve everybody? But you get it. As a employee mindset is like, I want my product or service to be for everyone so they can pay my bills. I totally get that. But here's the thing. Your product or service is not for everybody. And if you're being authentic, if you're being real, you you making it because there's something that you solved. So as I appreciate some of these little comments, right? I always think it's interesting, man. We are so quick, man. I can't believe I freed, man. Oops. All right. My office, and you see my office partly right there is brick. And so with my office, let me keep rocking because since I froze, I know I lost some people. I want to get to the place where I have some reception. Up 5G. There goes my 5G. Okay. I don't know why I be freezing. I don't know why I even kept my door open. But my office is it's surrounded by brick, and so man, sometimes I'd be like, man, why are we having issues? So power moves. So y'all want to see what here, I'll show you what my office looks like. My office is back here. Let me show you my office, because I'm gonna say this is a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest, Vancouver, Washington, and I'm gonna show you my office, why I be losing reception, how I came out here, so that y'all can see. And so usually when I have to have issues, people say, "Oh, Nathan, I can't hear you." Like this is the dilly. So it's a nice little spot right here, but here's my office, and it's brick right here. And so this is our parking lot right here, and over here is